Welcome to NSG 315 Study Session 11. The overview of the digestive system. Introduction. In the digestive system, the process of digestion has many stages, the first of which starts in the mouth, that is oral cavity. Digestion involves the breakdown of food into smaller and smaller components which can be absorbed and assimilated into the body. In this study session, you'll be learning about the digestive system, the gerontological changes in the GIT, and assessment of the abdomen. Learning outcome for study session 11. At the end of this study session, you should be able to 1. Highlight the functions of the digestive system. 2. Discuss the gerontological changes in the GIT. And lastly, number 3. Explain how to assess the abdomen. Functional anatomy of the digestive system. The organs fall into 2 groups: alimentary canal and accessory digestive organs. Alimentary canal involves the mouth, the pharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus, while the accessory organs are tongue, teeth, gallbladder, salivary gland, gland of the large intestine, liver, and pancreas. GIT extends from the mouth, esophagus, stomach, intestine to the anus. Below is the anatomy of the GIT. Mouth, a cavity lined by mucosa, oral or buccal cavity. Boundaries: anteriorly we have the lips, laterally the cheeks, superiorly the palate, inferiorly the tongue, and posteriorly continuous with the oropharynx. Lined with thick stratified squamous epithelium. Withstands considerable friction. Epithelium on the gum, hard palate, dorsum of the tongue is slightly keratinized for extra protection against abrasion during eating. Tongue occupies the floor of the mouth, fills most of the oral cavity when the mouth is closed. Composed of interlacing bundles of skeletal muscle fibers. During chewing, it grips the food and constantly repositions it between the teeth. Mixes food with saliva to form a bolus. Initiates swallowing by pushing the bolus posteriorly into the pharynx. Intrinsic and extrinsic skeletal muscle fibers. Salivary glands. Functions: cleanses the mouth, dissolves food chemicals so that they can be tasted, moistens food and aids in compacting it into a bolus, contains enzymes that begin chemical breakdown of starchy foods. Type: intrinsic, salivary, or buccal glands. This is scattered throughout the oral cavity. Extrinsic glands: paired, compound tubular gland, parotid gland, lie anterior to the ear. The parotid duct parallels the zygomatic arc, pierces the buccinator muscle, and opens into the vestibule next to the second molar. Branches of the facial nerves runs through the parotid gland. Surgery on the gland can result in facial paralysis. Salivary glands. Submandibular gland. About size of walnut, lies along the medial aspect of the mandible. Duct run beneath the mucosa of the floor of the mouth. Opens at the base of the lingual frenulum. Sublingual gland. Lies anterior to the submandibular, under the tongue, that is, opens via 10 to 12 ducts into the floor of the mouth. Cells of the salivary gland. 2 types of secretory cells: serous cells, which produce watery secretions containing enzymes, ions, tiny bits of mucins, while the mucous cells produce mucus. The parotid glands contain only serous cells. Submandibular and buccal glands have equal number of serous and mucous cells. The sublingual contains mostly mucous cells. The stomach is a hollow, distensible muscular pouch located in the left upper quadrant, below the diaphragm and between the liver and the spleen. It consists of three anatomical areas: the fundus, body, that is the corpus, and antrum, the pylorus. It stores, churns, and digests food. Sphincters. The lower esophageal sphincter allows food to enter the stomach. It prevents reflux into the esophagus. The pyloric sphincter. It regulates flow of stomach content, that is chyme, into the small intestine. The small intestine is a coiled tube, extends from the pyloric sphincter to the ileocecal valve at the large intestine. It has three sections: the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. Large intestine, a shorter, wider tube, approximately 6 cm and length of 1.4 meter. It begins at the ileocecal valve and ends at the anus. The ileocecal valve. It prevents the return of feces from the cecum into the small intestine. The appendix. It collects lymphoid tissues arise from the cecum. Large intestine. The large intestine consists of the cecum, the ascending, the transverse, descending, and sigmoid colon, and the rectum. In adults, it extends about 1.5 meter and has a diameter ranging from 6 cm in the cecum to 2 cm in the sigmoid colon. Layers of the GIT. There are 4 layers from within outward. Inner mucosal layer, which lubricates and protects the inner surface of the tract. The submucosal layer, responsible for secreting digestive enzymes. The muscle layer, which are circular, longitudinal, and oblique muscles. Then the outer layer, that is the peritoneum, composed parietal and visceral peritoneum. Functions of the GIT include ingestion and propulsion of food, digestion, absorption, and elimination. Digestion. It begins in the mouth with chewing and action of ptyalin, salivary enzymes that breaks starch. Swallowed food passes through the esophagus to the stomach. Process of digestion continues in the stomach, that is secretion of gastric juices, HCl, and enzyme pepsin and lipase, and renin in infants. Absorption. Mixing and churning through peristaltic action. From pylorus, the chyme passes into the duodenum through pyloric valve. Food digestion is completed in the small intestine. Most nutrient absorptions occurs. Pancreatic and intestinal enzymes, trypsin, lipase, amylase, lactase, maltase, and sucrase, and bile are involved in the digestion. Elimination. Waste product through the anus, water and electrolytes absorbed at the cecum and ascending colon. Rectum stores feces for elimination. Movement in the GIT. There are 2 types of movement in the GIT, and they are 1. Segmentation, that is mixing, and 2. Propulsion, that is peristalsis. Secretions of the GIT. Enzymes and hormones, that is for digestion. Mucus for lubrication and protection. Water and electrolytes. Summary of study session 11. In this study session, you've learned the following. 1. Alimentary canal, which includes the mouth, the pharynx, the esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus, while the accessory organs are the tongue, teeth, gallbladder, salivary glands, glands of the large intestine, liver, and pancreas. Number 2, quadrants are determined by imaginary vertical line, that is midline, from the tip of the sternum through the umbilicus to the symphysis pubis. This line is bisected perpendicularly by lateral line which runs through the umbilicus across the abdomen. Number 3, there are 4 layers of GIT from within outward. From the inner mucosa layer, which lubricates and protects the inner surface, to the submucosal layer responsible for secreting digestive enzymes, to the muscles, which are circular, longitudinal, and oblique muscles, and outer serosa, that is peritoneum, composed of parietal and visceral peritoneum. Thank you. We've come to the end of this study session.